Hello, everybody. Is there anybody present? Yeah, at least respond to what I say. Okay. So not by text, just you can unmute. You can say something, right? Okay. So what is the reason that like it did not join? So I saw nobody was there. Okay, guys, if you do not have time, then please unenroll from this course. Okay, so only if you have time, then you should be registering to this course, because this course requires lot of efforts. Okay, now I'm also going to make it compulsory to attend the live session. Okay, so I will have attendance also, and I will count that as attendance as per the institute rules. You have to be present of 75% times. Okay, so that's why if you are not attending the live sessions, the purpose of which is to clarify your doubts, then I will have to make attendance compulsory. Yeah, and I will keep record of attendance as well. As I said again, so if you are loaded with other courses, and hence you don't have time for this course, please unenroll from this course. Okay, so it's not like you don't have time, but you have enrolled to this course anyway. So if you have enrolled to this course, you have to also give time for this course. Yeah. So attending the live session is the minimum thing that you can do. Okay, now any question from the lectures? No questions? Okay, guys, so if you don't questions, so let's solve more tutorial problems from chapter 2. So before we start, so one of the questions we solved last time, the question number 25. Okay, so just a minute, let me share it. Yeah, okay. So question 25. So we had a setup where there was a spring like this one, K, and then there was a mass, M1, and then it was falling this M1, and then there was M2 here. Okay, so last time when I solved Then we made total energy, we equated, right? So we said mg, m1 g, and there was a height of h. So we said m1 g h is equal to, and then we equated that, right? So that was equal to half m1, plus m2 and v squared. That was the initial. Okay, so this we did, I did assuming the energy conversion was perfect, meaning that is an elastic collision. But in real life, this will not be true, and hence the velocity will be, in this case, whatever velocity we get will be have the maximum possible, because from the energy conversion we are assuming that no energy is lost, and the velocity we'll get is higher. Okay, the correct it was by mistake actually, so I should have thought about the more practical scenario rather than the ideal scenario. Yeah, so the practical scenario is the energy will be lost, and because of that we have to apply the conservation of momentum. So one of the students pointed this out, so then I realized my mistake. So what you have to do in this case will be, first we have to find out what the velocity of that will be. So first we have to say m1gh will be equal to half, then we have m1, and we can have v, so this will be v1 square. Yeah, so this, or let's say call it v0 square. So from there we can find out v0 will be equal to 2gh root. So this is the velocity of mass m1 when it is about to touch m2. Yeah, and then we apply the conservation of momentum, and what we get in that case is m1 v0 will be equal to m1 plus m2 and then v1, right? So, and then we get v1 is equal to m1 over m1 plus m2 times v0, and hence we get m1 over m1 plus m2, v0 is 2gh. Yeah, so this is what v1 will be, and from there we proceed. So the thing what we got earlier was root of, so in this case we get v equal to 2 times gh divided by m1 plus m2, and then under root of that. And what we see in this case is m1 over m1 plus m2 is outside this square root, and hence the value in this case will be a smaller. You get the v1 which will be a smaller. So once we get this one, then we can solve further. So this correction we have to make. So initial velocity of the combined mass m1 plus m2 will be different. Yeah, so this correction you have to make. Okay, here the idea, however, is to learn, given the initial velocity, what will happen. So that is actually the impact and all is not really what we are going to learn here. So those things are a subject of engineering mechanics that you have done already. So here we are just applying that to find out initial velocity. Once initial velocity of the combined mass is there, then this will proceed as we have done last. Okay, any question? Okay, so let's look at other questions. So next questions are, we had 25, 24 and 37. Okay, so 24 we solved already. Then we have 37. So let's look at 37. Okay, so the 37 says, so So let's have here, so 237. It says there is a vibrating system which has mass given, so m equal to 17.5 kg, k is equal to 70 Newton per centimeter. Yeah, then c is equal to 0.70 Newton per centimeter per second, per centimeter second. Okay, and then we have to find out the damping factor. So answer, we have to find out what is the damping factor. So we want to find out C. C is given, sorry, we have to find out the damping zeta. So is equal to what? Then B, we have to find out natural frequency of the damped oscillation. Okay, so then we have the omega n we have to find out. Then C, logarithmic decrement, delta we have to find out, and the ratio, and D, we have to find out x1 over x2. So ratio of two consecutive amplitudes. Yeah, so this we have to find out. Now, omega n is a natural frequency when we are talking about the natural frequency of damped oscillation. So actually we are talking about omega d basically. So we will look at those. So, so this question is easy. So first of all, always you have to change. You have to see whether all the units are correct. I mean in SI or not. So you have that in kg, then we have 70 Newton per meter we have to do. So 1 centimeter is 10 to power minus 2 meters. So this becomes 7,000, 7 times 10 to power 3 Newton per meter. And similarly here we can have 0.7 divided by or multiplied by 100. Yeah. Newton per meter second. Yeah, so we have that. So we can find out zeta. So zeta equal to, as you know, this is C over 2 root km, and hence the value of C you have there. Value of C you have this. M you know, K you know, so you just put there, you can find out. Yeah, so you can find out the values. Then second thing is the natural frequency of damped oscillation is omega d. So omega d we can find also B. Omega d is equal to, will be 1 minus zeta square omega n. So then omega n you have to find out in order to find that. So we find zeta from here, and where omega n is root k over m, and k and m are given, we put this here, and zeta we have here, and you can find out omega d. So B we find like this one. Then C is delta. Okay, so logarithmic decrement. So delta is what? 2 pi zeta, 1 minus zeta square, and we can put this value here. So this is straightforward. You put it there, you can find out that. Okay, and then x1, the ratio of two amplitudes. So as you know, log, so this is ln x1 over x2. This is what a delta is, right? So d, yeah, and hence you know in order to find out this one, so if you have x1, so you have x1 over x2 is equal to e to the power delta. That's it. So that's how you can find out this one. Any question, guys?
Sir, I have a question.
Yeah,
Sir,
yeah.
how did we get this C part, sir? Delta.
This is, did you see the lectures?
Sir, I saw 3 lectures.
Now this is the fourth one. Logarithmic decrement, it is in the fourth one. Okay? So watch the fourth one because it is discussed there. Yeah? So this is about the damped oscillation, and when it oscillates, it will go like this. This oscillation will be between like this one, you know, and then we measure the amplitude here to here, x1 over x2. So let's say this is x1, this is x2. So this delta is defined as natural logarithm log of x1 over x2. This is how it is defined, and when you simplify, you will get this equation. Simply this. So see the third lecture. Okay, it's there. Fourth lecture, it is there. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Any other question? Okay. So let's see now 39. Okay, so 39 is 39 I will not solve because this is one of the problem given in your homework. Yeah, so you have to solve that. So 39 I am skipping. So let's see 40. Yeah. So let's solve 240 now. So 240. So you say the spring mass system with the viscous damping. So we have this system and this viscous MKC. It is displaced from the equilibrium position and released. So you are displacing it from here to here and releasing it. So you are giving a value x naught. Yeah. If the amplitude is diminished by 5% each cycle, then how will it work? This will work like this one. So maximum will be here, and then this is going to diminish. You know, so it will go like this. Yeah. So it says diminishing by 5%. So that really means if it is x1 here and x2 here, then x1 over x2 will be 1. So diminishing by 5%. So that makes it, if it is 1 and x2 will be 0.95. Right. So this is what the ratio will be. Yeah. Okay, so if the amplitude diminished by 5% each cycle, what fraction of critical damping does the system have? Yeah, so the critical damping, you have to find out what fraction of critical damping means. C, let's equal, that really means that actually means the zeta. So it is asking what is zeta. Yeah. Okay. Now here we can find out, we can apply the formula. So as you know, the ln of x1 over x2 is called logarithmic decrement, will be equal to ln of 1 over 0.95, and which is equal to delta we have defined is equal to 2 pi zeta over 1 root under 1 minus zeta square. Yeah, so and then we solve it, right? So this is equal to natural log of 1 over 0.95. Yeah. Okay, so this we have to solve, that's it. So we solve for zeta and we get the answer. So from there we will get zeta. So very straightforward. So we have 40. Then let's look at 41. So 241, it says a uniform rigid bar of mass m and length L is pinned. So this is something like this one. Yeah, so this is C given, this is K given. Yeah. Okay. And then this is A which is given, this is L which is given. Okay. So this is the arrangement. And there is a pin joint here. So this is a pin here, and this can vibrate in these directions. We have theta, which is the angular displacement given. So first is finding out the moment of inertia is given about I, mass moment of inertia. I is given I equal to mL square over 3. So this is asking that determine the equation. So first A is equation of the motion, B is the equation for the undamped natural frequency. So undamped natural frequency is omega n, and then C the expression for critical damping. So is finding out the critical damping, the expression of critical damping. So we have to find out what is CC basically. Yeah. So that is when we say C over, I mean, we have to find out the expression. What is in terms of K, C, and all? What is the expression? Yeah. So is critical C is equal to what? That's the question. Again, this question is similar to one of the homework problems. Yeah. And here, what you have to do is we have to find out which all the forces are there. So if you displace, let us say anti-clockwise, you have displaced something. So again, let us say your this is how the bar is, and this is A. So from equilibrium, this will change. It will be A theta, and from here to here, this will be L theta. Yeah. Okay. So that really means that if you look at the force, how the force will look like? Force will be here. The stretching will be A times theta. So you get a force which will be K times A times theta, and here the force will be C L theta dot. Yeah, so because this velocity will be equal to radius, so here's a radius multiplied by the omega. So radius is L, this is theta dot is omega, this is the velocity in this direction, and it has to resist the movement, so hence the force will be upward. So this is the total force which is being applied, and then we have to see anti-clockwise what is the total force. So what we see force is, so moment, total moment has to be equal to total moment about O. Let's say call it O here, this O point. Total moment about O has to be equal to I times alpha, or I times theta double dot, and hence what we get here is this one is going clockwise, right? So clockwise, so we get minus, So we get minus Ka theta multiplied by lever, which is A. Then moment because of this will be also minus Cl theta dot is the force multiplied by L, which will be the levers multiplied by L, right, is equal to I times theta double dot. I is ml square over 3. So we write ml square over 3 theta double dot. And hence, what equation we get? So we get ml square over 3 theta double dot plus CL square theta dot plus, and then Ka square theta. Yeah, is equal to 0. So this is the equation. So A we found out. So this is the equation. Now B, part B is omega n. So omega n will be equal to, if you see here, in this equation, this is the equivalent K, this is equivalent mass basically. Yeah, so omega n, you have Ka square over ml square over 3, or simply we get 3Ka square over ml square. So omega n we found out like that. C, critical damping, so we have to find out zeta. So zeta is, what is zeta? Zeta is C over, right, 2 km. And in this case, C really means effective, so let's say, right, C dash, K dash, M dash, because what we mean, the effective C, yeah, so which is coming from the equation. So what we get is C, in this case is CL square, right? So this is CL square, C dash CL. So we have CL square divided by 2, and then we have a K, effective K is Ka square. So Ka square, and then ml square over 3. Okay, so CL square divided by 2 root Ka square. So this is coming from this ml square over 3, right? So this is zeta, right? And this we have equal to critical. When you say critical, damping, so that really means zeta has to equal to 1. So we can write like this one, right? So this is will be equal to 1 for critical damping. Yeah? So this is the expression. That's what the expression looks like. That means we will have the whole thing equal to 1. So we can write really means what we mean here is CL square over 2 root Ka square ml square divided by 3 is equal to 1 is the answer. So all very straightforward. If you have studied, you can solve very easily. Okay, so any questions so far? Then let's look at 44. So 244. So here it says there is a is a damper, there is a spring, and C is given, K is given. So C equal to 1.75 Newton second per centimeter. Then K is equal to 350 Newton per centimeter, and M, there will be also a M term being used, M equal to 4.53 kg. And there is a mass here which is moving, M with the velocity V, and V is also given to be 15.24 meter per second. Yeah, okay. Then so here this mass is moving with this velocity, and then it comes in contact and gets stuck here. And then the question is, determine the maximum displacement of the piston after engaging the spring damper. How many seconds does it take? Okay, so we have to find out the maximum displacement of the piston after this engaged with this one. Okay, so now we have to, basically we have to find out how it behaves after it gets stuck there. Yeah, and for that we have to solve the damped free vibration problem, right? So the equation as such, what we have x dot. So what happens? We have this kind of system, basically equivalent system, M, then we K, then we have C. Then initial velocity we have x dot 0 is given as V, right? So whatever V we are getting here and the defined is basically x dot at t equal to 0 is given, right? And we have x 0 equal to 0. At x equal to 0, we have displacement equal to 0. Yeah, so we have this one. Now refer to the lectures. The damped oscillation, free oscillation, where x is given as x equal to, we have x equal to, we give like e to the power minus zeta omega n, then t, and then we have the other expressions. So other expressions are x dot 0 plus zeta omega n x 0 is there, divided by you have omega n multiplied by 1 minus zeta square multiplied by you have sine omega dt basically. So omega d is nothing but 1 minus zeta square omega nt, and then plus this is the one term you have, plus you have x0 terms, x0, then we will have cos now, and cos omega dt. Omega d is nothing but 1 minus zeta square omega nt. Now in this case, if you look at it, the x0 is 0, so you will immediately see that this term is going to, this is 0 and this is 0. So what you end up with only you have is equal to e to power minus zeta omega nt, and then you have x dot 0 term divided by omega n this term. So you write x dot 0, which is equal to v actually divided by omega n 1 minus zeta square and sine omega dt, right? So let's write omega dt to make it simple, and this is also in fact omega d only from here to here. Yeah, so this is the equation we have, and the first thing we have to find was, so A, was what is the distance it can travel, right? That's what it was. So first is distance, and B was the time step. So maximum amplitude, that after it gets engaged with this one, how much it can travel, and then what is the time required for that. Now looking at this one, the x will be maximum velocity will be 0, right? So the velocity will be 0, and so how much it will do. So one thing will be just look at the how the oscillation will follow. So looking at this is the envelope, right? This is the envelope, and this is going to be again, see the lectures. This is how it will going to do, and at x equal to 0, this has, so this will go like this. So this will have some velocity. We are talking about the x, basically x with time. So we are going like this. Yeah, something like that. Okay, so we want to find out what is the value of this one, this value, and so on. Yeah, so looking at this, we know that from here to here, the value has to be omega d. So no, let's say, just a minute. So from here to here is one oscillation, okay? One complete oscillation, and time period will be Td, let's say. And we know that omega d is equal to 2 pi over Td. Okay, and this Td, the maximum that it can go from here to here, let's say, to here, will be what? So from here, this will be, if from here to here Td, or from here to here is another Td, so from here to here it's Td. Hence, you will have 1, 2, then 3 and 4. So this will be capital D over 4. Yeah. Okay. So we can directly put there, you can directly put Td over 4 there, or omega d. So from here we can get that Td over 4 will be equal to, basically this gives you Td is equal to 2 pi over omega d, and Td over 4 equal to nothing but 2 pi over omega d over 4, and you get a pi over 2 omega d. So this is the B, answer B already. So you get already answer B. Yeah. So and so this is where it will be maximum. Say where it will be maximum. Now next thing is the distance traveled. So what will be the distance from here to here? So we can put this this t to the original equation, and the original equation is this one. Yeah. And from that we can find out. So you can see also here equation omega dt is maximum. You can also see x is given by this one, and maximum of this will be when omega d times t is 1. Yeah, that is omega d times t equal to 2 pi, and hence t will be at t equal to 2 pi over omega d. That time it will be maximum. So this is Td basically 2 pi over omega d. There it will be maximum, right? So same thing we are getting from there. So you can relate from there also. Okay, now you put the value of maximum distance traveled. So we can write maximum distance traveled will be equal to, you put the value of t here, we can find out. So this is omega d, this omega d, t, this will automatically will be 1. And here we have we have omega d here value, and we put the value of omega n here, will value of t there, and we'll get the value. So what is the value we get? So maximum distance, right, or x max in this case will be e to the minus, and then we have zeta, right? We have the zeta omega nt. So we have zeta omega nt. So minus zeta omega n. T is nothing but, as we found out, this is pi over 2 d, 2 omega d, multiplied by, then we have x dot, means v. So v is defined already, so look at it. So this is v divided by omega d, divided by omega d, that's it. So v divided by, so this is the x. Okay, so we can further simplify in this case, basically. So, but this is the what the total displacement will be in that case. Yeah. Further simplification will be like this. So further simplification, as you know, that x max we can write is equal to e to the power minus zeta omega n times pi divided by 2 times 1 minus zeta square omega n, right, multiplied by v over omega d. So also we can write like that. So it becomes e to the power minus, and then you get zeta omega n, omega n cancels out, so you get pi zeta, right, and then you have 2 1 minus zeta square times v over omega d. Omega d we can spell it out, it will be 1 minus zeta square omega n also. Yeah. So anyway, this gives you x max like this. Okay, so you will follow if you have gone through all the lecture videos for chapter 2, chapter 1 to chapter 4. Yes, but this how you solve. Time it requires, as this is a part A, part B will be the time required. This is a part B. So this is the answer. Yeah. So part B will be a time required. So we can write here. Time required. The maximum sorry guys, what is because of you know, Are you able to hear me now?
No, sir.
No?
No, sir. Your voice is breaking.
Yeah, some internet issues. So what about now?
No, sir. Maybe you can turn off your camera, then it will be better.
Yeah. So, is it okay now? Is it okay now, guys?
No, sir. It's still breaking.
Okay. Let me decline. Okay. Can you hear me now, guys?
Sir, it's still breaking.
Yeah. Okay, see, the time is over. So let me just pass the. So what I was saying that the time required to reach the full displacement is nothing but equal to time period T over, and that T is nothing but 2 pi over omega d. Uh, this becomes pi over 2 omega d. Let omega d, where omega d is nothing but equal to omega n to 1 minus zeta square. So this is how it will be. Yeah. So okay, guys, I think there's some issues now. So okay, see you next week now. Okay.